Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, it's going to be a match between Best and Action here on Eclipse. Top right-hand corner, it is the teal Protoss player, it is Best. And in the bottom left, it is the brown Zerg player, Action. Can't red versus blue this, because it's going to be red versus red if I do. And yeah, this is basically, third world, I feel like, other than the fact that you can't cross it with ground units, other than probes, SCVs, or drones. It's just split right down the middle. The left side here is, you know, jungle tile set, and the top right here is space tile set. And yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. Good map design. Interesting, anyway. I think I cast one of these on my live stream. Well, a game on this map on my live stream last Thursday. Anyway, let's see here. That's going to be a 9 pool here from Action. And a 1 gate expand here. Ooh, from Best. He's planning on being aggressive with Zealots. Oh, an extractor trick. Give him 10 out of 9 available supply. I think that means he's going to be pretty darn aggressive with his Zerglings. Let's see if I am correct. Overlord sees the probe coming in to scout, as expected from a Protoss player. Worker scouting is not very common, especially on a 2-player map. Unless you're rushing on a 4-player map and need to know exactly where your opponent is. How many lings? We're going to make 3 sets. Ooh, 6 lings in production here. This is aggressive stuff. So this is going to be a wall off for sure. I bet he wishes he made a forge. I really do. I imagine Best is like, crap, I should have forge expanded. I'd have some cannons up. But instead I have to do this with Zealots, which is annoying to deal with. Cannons are much better at handling this sort of a thing. Assuming you can block them, because they will jump on this cannon and kill it if there's one. But yeah, 1 Zealot, 2 Zealots, and then I have to build something here. I really don't like the Protoss position here out of Best at all. Expanding behind it. It's not a 1-base attack. This is where you don't expand quite yet. Yep, Forge coming in. Just for walling purposes, you're not going to get a cannon up before these lings arrive. Where did my Zealot go? Oh, here he is. He's down here. He's at the bottom side of the wall. Makes sense, dude. You do that. Go for it. Friendorama. Okay, so this is where he has to kind of dissuade the lings from killing this gateway while at the same time not allowing them to run past him into the base. That'd be horrific. I'm kind of surprised they're backing off. It doesn't help them at all to back off here. Honestly, more shots on that gateway seem incredibly possible. And there are no cannons coming up. Action! I like that he's getting a 3rd base at least. If he's not going to try to do something with these lings, getting a quick 3rd is probably the best response to not being able to kill anything with them. So I'm alright with it. I just, the lings being home, you're guaranteed to kill this probe, which is great. But sending like 1 or 2 lings back home would accomplish the exact same thing. I mean, preventing the scouting is super, super fantastic, but it's not everything at this point. Man, considering how much damage he did to the gateway there with those lings, I'm kind of surprised he didn't keep going for it. I think he could have killed that gateway with those lings. Again, I think for Best to clear it out, it would have had to open him up to a run-by, which he definitely didn't want to do. You do not want 6 lings inside your main base like that. Remember when I was like, it's a guaranteed probe kill, and this probe's like, yeah, shut up, Falcon, I'm fine. Just kidding, I'm dead. All right, so 3rd base going to pop here momentarily. Meanwhile, back in Protossville, Cannon, Nexus, and I'm going to assume a Stargate are going to be next here. If you don't open Stargate, it opens yourself up to Mutalisks across the sky. Hydralisk Den coming in, though, and no sign of a lair at all. So we're going to defend against potential Corsairs with Hydras. Again, I don't... maybe there it is. There's your Stargate. Okay, so Stargate coming in, but the Hydra pressure is going to be pretty good. I feel like this is going to be a pretty solid Hydra attack. Hydra speeds coming in, kind of droning up the 3rd base a little bit. We're sitting at about 17 workers and making a couple more. Hydra production has begun here too. So yeah, as is tradition, if you can show up with a bunch of Hydras with range before Storm is available, before some kind of splash damage is available, whether it's a Reaver or whether it's Psionic Storm, you can get a lot done with Hydras and even possibly win the game. So is that what we're going for action? That's my question of the day here. Yeah, at this point, I would say Bess is probably favored in the matchup, just because I think Bess is a better player than Action is. But, you know, this is why we watch StarCraft. Because if we knew who's going to win every matchup, it wouldn't be fun. Surprises are why we watch. So how is he going to do this? We don't know. I mean, obviously, he's making the Hydras. We're working on a Citadel of Adun back home in Protosville, trying to get that Storm up eventually. The Lynx are just trying to make sure the Zealots don't make a move out without Action knowing. And that's pretty good. I suppose, too, if you have a bunch of Zealots with speed, you can knock the Hydras off your front door, too. So that's why we have continued Zealot production, and that's why the Citadel's coming in. Partially to go for Storm, and partially to go for the speed upgrade, the leg enhancements for the Zealots. So the Hydras are here, which means the Corsair might be able to get some damage done on these Overlords if some of the Hydras don't want to stay home. Yeah, here we go. So now Hydra range coming in. Speed's important, so you can kite away from the Zealots that are trying to kill you. Let's see if he leaves a couple Hydra, maybe like one Hydra at each base. Yeah, this is looking exceptionally dicey for Best. The Zealots are actually getting some decent hits off on the Lings. Oh, took out one of the cannons, but there's another one back there. Probes are actually in the mix. Trying to do what they can here, but just getting absolutely massacred because Hydra DPS and Hydra damage is insanely good. Gonna sit back here and okay, actually firing. I don't know if he had to synchronize that attack up or what. That was very strange. Yeah, Corsair just scouting. Recognizes there's no lair. Recognizes this is probably going to be just a mass Hydra attempt to destroy Best. So the gateway looks like it's going to die. The forge looks like it's going to die. Just throwing up additional cannons back here. Desperately trying to hold. But I don't know. I don't know if it's even possible to hold here. It's looking so dicey. Gateway, forge. Yeah, because he lost his forge here. Got to replace that one. Now, the question is, man, could he focus down that pylon before all his Hydras died? That would be amazing. It is situated in a position where it's not easily picked off. Like, if it was here, that'd be GG. He's not even going to try for it here. He's pretty happy to have his contain up. And really just kind of droning up behind this. He got a macro hatch on the way here at the natural base. Just more and more Hydra is pushing up. It's 47 to 44 total supply. Action has a lead in overall supply, which does not bode well for Best. That said, Best is getting a Templar Archives. He's going to have Storm here soon-ish. These cannons and these two Zealots are all that are standing between him and utter annihilation. Corsair have any kills? It does not. The Overlords are all being protected by, like, this one Hydralisk. It's not a Corsair group, because you can't afford to make a ton of Corsairs when you have all these Hydras on your front doorstep. They're not going to do much. Maybe Disruption Web could be attempted, but you got to get a Fleet Beacon for that, and it takes forever. It's just not a viable use of your resources to go for Disruption Web in this particular situation. We've seen it used to pretty good effect on Outsider when it was a ZVP, right? Which is a weird map, and it kind of seemed to work pretty well against the Zerg players that we saw it employed against, which includes Terror. I mean, which includes a pretty darn solid Zerg player for sure. Look at that, just heading home. He's like, all right, Storm's in the general vicinity. Dark Templar on the way too. So we're just going to make sure we're maybe not getting ninja'd. Trying to make sure that Best doesn't have a third base down here somewhere that we don't know about. Maybe accidentally catching that Corsair would be awesome too. But at some point, yeah, the answer to Storm here, it can't just be Mass Hydra. Although we have seen that. I mean, recently in ASL, we've seen Zerg players just go mass Hydra Lurker against Protoss on 2 or 3 bases and just crush them. Is that a Dark Archon? What is with the Dark Archons? I'm telling you, the Dark Archons today are somehow very plentiful on the channel. I don't know what it is. Did you see that PvP that I cast last week with the mass Dark Archons? That was one of the craziest, weirdest games I've ever seen. It's Firebat Hero off racing. If you missed that, go back and watch it. It's Firebat Hero versus 007 something. I can't remember what the rest of his name is, but it's a PvP, and I know it's a mirror matchup, and some people don't like mirror matchups, but dude, the Dark Archon play alone is worth the cost of admission. I'm telling you, I love the defense on this 4th base here. Actually, 3rd base was super fast, but his 4th is not until about 10 minutes, which is not ideal. Maelstrom coming in. This is becoming more and more part of the meta as 2020 goes on. I don't know what it is. I don't know who came up with this concept of let's use a spell that has been available to us for 20 years. That seems like a good idea. It'll be great, and it is. It's a disgustingly good combination with Storm. Maelstrom just halts biological units in their tracks. They can't move, they can't use their abilities, and then you can storm them when they can't move, and it will just massacre wide swaths of Hydralisks. Or, you know, Lurkers, if you're into that sort of thing, which you probably are. Corsair finally dies. That thing's been running around forever, it feels like, in action. Gotta feel good to destroy that thing. So yeah, Maelstrom done, Storm done, Hydra Lurker all across the sky here at a best. I'm actually realizing this might be an ASL game based on some of the information at the front here. At least the map was created for ASL. If it's an ASL game, this is the first ASL game I've ever cast on the channel. Shh, don't tell anyone. We're gonna keep it a secret. This is good stuff. I might end up putting ASL in the title. I don't know. Do we need that? I don't know that we need that. I can't promise to do any more, but this replay was recommended as a good one, so that's why I'm casting it. Alright, so Best has really just been turtling on two bases. He hasn't made any kind of a push out whatsoever. He's defended fairly well. These cannons are a testament to how well he's defended. He didn't lose his natural. He lost some probes during the defense, but that's okay. And he's up 123 to 115 supplies. He's got a bunch of Zealots, Dragoons, and a Dark Archon in the mix, which I think got scouted by that Scourge, if I had to guess. High Templar here, too. So this is just a matter of how much stuff do you have, action? Can you absorb the damage you're going to take from Storm, and Maelstrom Storm, no less? Did you bring an observer with you? He does have an observer with him. Okay. Poor Lurker. Toast. More Hydras in production. At some point here, we're going to need to go to Hive Tech. And I'm kind of worried we're not making a Queen's Nest yet. But Best has been really defensive here. We've seen Best play some incredible games on this channel, too. Some of the more popular games on the channel have been with Best and his carrier play. Obviously, not going to play carriers against Zerg on this map. But still, good stuff in some PVTs that I have cast of his, you know, a couple years ago. Best has been around for a while, and he is still kicking it exceptionally well. Kind of like this. The brown is just everywhere. I don't know where Best can go is the problem right now. He's got this brown Maginot line set up, which maybe not a good reference, because the Maginot line did get destroyed by the Germans in World War II. But it's like the most famous defensive military line of all time, quite possibly. Maybe it's only famous because it failed so spectacularly, but that's always what I think of when I think of a line in StarCraft, is the Maginot line in France. But regardless, I mean, why is the Dark Archon leading the charge here? It's not exactly a damage dealer. I suppose it could get a Maelstrom out if it wanted to, but anywho, it's probably time for action to expand. Can he do that easily? I guess this is probably his. This probably makes sense for a 5th base for him, and a 4th base is probably here for Best. Or maybe down here, which the Hydra is scouting out. Once again, this high ground Lurker Hydra really pre-split stuff is great. Out of action. It is excellent out of action. He's got Hydras and Lurkers here too. Look at this. The Zealots are like, we're just going to wander in, take a bunch of shots, and get the heck on out of there. That's very scary stuff. What? Oh, there's the Maelstrom Storm combo. But look at these Hydras. They're actually going to survive that. The Maelstrom radius is actually bigger than the Storm radius is. And the Lurkers with the Hydras combined. So Hydras, really great units, but they're better combined with things like Lurkers and combined with things, there's your another Maelstrom, with things like Zerglings. Just by themselves, a little bit squishy, a little easy to take care of, but see, with the Lings buffering and providing additional DPS, so the Hydras aren't taking direct damage, that's exactly what action needs to be doing here. So at 14 minutes hit, we're basically maxed out. And this is action just going, I'm going all the Lurkers and all the Hydras and all the Zerglings known to mankind right now. And we've seen it work. If you've watched ASL recently, this strategy has been exceptionally good against Protoss players, much to their frustration. They can have Reavers, they can have Storm, they can have everything you want. But just the macro of some of these super top level Zergs, just throw units at it over and over and over and over until the Protoss player falls down. That's all it is. No Dark Swarm, no Plague. And this game action is going for Plague, as the Defiler Mount is on the way now, and Adrenal Glands is coming in too. But I really think action has a hold of this game. He's just got high ground Lurker Hydra positions everywhere. He's allowing Best to attack into him rather than jumping into the Protoss meat grinder that can be a defensive Protoss, especially with Storm. Yeah, that's largely a Dragoon army. These Lings, if they had Adrenal Gland, it'd be a lot better, but they're still the natural enemy of Dragoons. I kind of like this. High Templar wandering in. This, I don't know what this Lurker is doing here. Apparently it's walking through Storm, which is exciting stuff. But yeah, Dragoons can pick out these Lurkers very, very well. Oh, beautiful Storm there, too. Without Dark Swarm, Dragoons are going to be an important backbone of the army for Best for the next couple of minutes here as Consume is coming in. And this attempt to hold this right side, there's just not enough for Action to do it. So he's going to be completely wiped out up here. Great Storms. The Dark Archons didn't need to Maelstrom anything there. That Lurker ends up getting 1 kill before it dies. +1/+2 attack upgrade, armor upgrade. And actually similar upgrades here for the Protoss too. +1 armor and +2 attack. That's exactly what the Zerg has. So flanking on down, I don't know about this position. Coming down a choke like that, Action doesn't like it either. He's gonna back the heck on out of there for sure. I like these Lurkers are not burrowed for some reason. I guess maybe if they burrow, the High Templar can storm them and they'll die. Maybe by staying in this position, they stay alive? Okay, so we split, burrow, stab. Stab. See, make the Protoss player attack into you on these high grounds. It's a much better position to be in. Yeah, Ling's running down the ramp. Coming down the ramp is death. Making the Protoss go up the ramp better. Better situation, and yes, this is where Best is taking his 4th base down the right side. I don't know what this Hydralisk is doing here. Kind of fun, I guess. This is a big committal of an attack, maybe going right for the front door of Best, but look at this. This Zealot High Templar defensive army with cannon supporting is going to be really hard to break. Oh, top left base here for Action. In a lot of trouble. Zealots take it down. That's a massive win for Best. Oh, but there's your Dark Swarm Zergling attack. Storm is going to be good in most situations. Oh my gosh, another Storm is available. But now you're out. Now your cannons are all dead, and now your base is toast, and now your Archon that was trying to merge in there is completely dead as well. Trying to high ground it, trying to get the Zealots, prevent them from getting inside the Dark Swarm, because that's where they want to be. They are very largely protected from Hydra attacks in there. Oh, I love the Lurker Egg on the ramp. Oh, and so all these probes are guaranteed to die. Excellent job. Just cutting a swath of destruction through the southern section of the map, though, is Best. That said, it's 184 to 143 supply. Action is ahead pretty substantially, and losing that Nexus is a huge stinking deal. That's massive. Metasynaptic Node on the way here from Action. Did he get Plague? Ooh, is what I would like to know. I like how there's a truce here. Like, neither side really wants to move in there. I'm assuming... Oh, there's your Plague. Ooh. Okay, so Plague did get researched. Saw that coming through the production tab for sure. Probes transferring... Oh, feedback on the Defiler, though. Ooh, on that one, too. Dude, this Dark Archon has done some seriously good work today. Oh, no. The probe transfer. Where's the Dark Swarm? Here it is. Poof. Oh, my gosh. He needs to save this. There's nothing here but some cannons to save all of these probes. Can he get back in time? He needs to save this base to stay alive. And you know what? He's going to do it, too. Another feedback on a Defiler. Removing all its energy. A Plague did get tossed down on these guys, and you know what? He saved the base. Sure, most of his units are plagued, which is considered a very bad thing, but you know what? That's a lot of probes down here that otherwise would be dead, if not for the timely retreat back to cover this. Another Plague to cover this position. The Plagues are good right now. Not so good that like a handful of Lings are going to win this thing. Oh. He just keeps re-plaguing them. Like, is anybody not plagued here at this point? The observers are not plagued. That's a minor win. There's your Maelstrom. There's your Dark Archon. This Dark Archon, though, has done all of the work today for best. He's MVP of the match. Without question, this one Dark Archon that he made like 20 minutes ago, 10, 15 minutes ago, is doing all of the work for the army. So losing this base and not replacing it is horrible for best. Reestablishing this top left-hand base for action is fantastic. And it's about even army supply. These Zealots are trying to get up here, but the vision of action's pretty good. He's got Adrenal Glands, which just makes Lings so much better in this situation. Especially when they have +1 attack. +2 would be better, but, you know. Okay, so maybe not as good as I wanted them to be against +3 Zealots. +3 Zealots are mean. They will eat up Zerglings like they're the chow mein. Dark Archon, not much energy, but he's part of the battle anyway here. +3 Archons are down here, +2 armor on those guys, doesn't really matter. +1 shields is nice, though. Like that very much indeed. You know, Lings wanted to go for the Dark Archon, but nice job pulling it back there. Best is really babysitting this thing, and it seems like a smart thing to do. That's a lot of Zerglings just dying. Just making death sounds inside that Dark Swarm, thanks to the Storm largely. And then also thanks to the just the Archon Splash, which is so good against Zerglings. Another Defiler down to Zealots, and Best's little maneuver across the map here is, I don't know, he's taking some hits. He's reinforcing with some Zealots coming in from the top. Weird game this is. I like it. This is actually looking exceptionally bad for action all of a sudden. He's got some Lings coming in from the north here and some Hydras too. So that Archon's going to die. And this one's probably going to die at a similar time here. It's 4 Hydras at a time in production. Just mass Archon coming through, which is what you want Ling Hydra against in general. As we saw, that Archon goes down, and we see the Dark Archon does get a Maelstrom off. And they're actually just moving into the main base now. An attack is heading up to the top left, which I think these Lings are moderately prepared for. These Lurkers on the top of the ramp, too, are going to be very good. So no one's getting out of here for best. He knows this is a one-way trip. But if he can actually take down... Oh, my gosh. Can he get the Defiler Mound? Bad rally, but getting some hits off anyway. This Archon's got 8 kills, and he's finally getting smashed in the face. The Zealots at the top left are just focusing down drones for the most part. Already has 3 kills. Already has 4 kills, 5 kills, and then finally gets wiped out. Defiler Mound stays alive, but I think the Queen's Nest died is what this structure was that went down there. Holy smokes, this is a good game. This might get an epic tag. We're looking at it. Although action's up 110 to 86 total supply. I just don't know. Like, Best never replacing this base is a big problem, I think. He did manage to hold on to his base down to the bottom right, but he's effectively 3-basing Zerg right now, which is not going to hold against a 4-basing Zerg forever. If Action had a 5th base, I'd feel better about his chances to win this game too, though. As he did lose his natural. There's some income here. Barely enough to even, like, make sense for him to replace that. 3-3 on the Lurkers and Hydras, though. Upgrades have been coming through for Action recently. 3-1-2 for the ground units for Best. And he knows if he can wipe out this 4th base, he can win this game. So he's setting up. High Templar are wandering in to toss down their Storm. Ling, nice Plague. Another great Plague. Look at these Zealots bodyguarding on the High Templar, although they do turn themselves into an Archon. Not as useful here, I don't think, for Action. But look at how tight quarters this is. Another Plague. Ooh! All over these Protoss units. The Archons are doing okay, but the Zealots are just taking a beating here. This guy's got 2 HP. He's dead. It is so many dead Zerg units. Nice High Templar snipe on the right side, though. running away, and bam! Bess is out. Action wins your match in 24 minutes and 51 seconds. That was a good scrap fest. 24 minutes, and Action's on 4 bases. Bess is on 3. I don't know that I agree with Bess' decision to go for this base and kill it. If he kills it, he wins. If he doesn't kill it, he loses, which is what happened there. He really should have retaken this base. I think he could have done it. I think he could have, again, just High Templar and cannons can defend a ramp against what we're seeing here from Action almost indefinitely. Even with Dark Swarm, even with Hydras, that's the combination that you want there. And he knows how to do it. It helped him hold on to this base very well. The decision to not retake the 3rd is just baffling to me for Best. I would have loved to see him do it, but just never did. Action on 4 bases. Scrapped his face off there. Just managed to get reinforcements in to clear out this attack with them basically Mass Archon, and then this attack with High Templar, Archons, and Zealots. Couldn't quite pull it off in the end. Best couldn't. Action just scraping together enough defense on 44 workers and no natural base to get the win there. Just a scrap fest. Well done by Action getting the win. And that's a Zerg win. For those of you on the channel who complain I never cast Zerg wins, I think that's 2 in the last couple of weeks. So enjoy immensely. Yeah, so apparently Sharp was observing. Cool. 205,000 points here for Action, 193 for Best. 800 Zerg units produced in 24 minutes. It's a lot of Zerg units, man. So many. 200 Protoss units produced, and it was that close of a game. Yeah, this kill-death ratio, 600 to 190, is pretty nuts for Best. But ended up losing 200 units himself. Ended up losing 16 buildings, which is not great, including that 3rd base, and then just getting out-gas mined, out-mineral mined, and outspent pretty significantly by Action in that game. And that's what you need if you're going to beat a Protoss who has Storm, who has Archons, who has Zealots, who has a Dark Archon in there too. In order to beat them with just Hydra, Lurker, Defiler, you need more. You need more resources to win it, and that's exactly what he did. So nicely done, Action, getting a good win on the channel. I gotta say, he hasn't looked incredibly good from what I've seen, but that was a really good win against a really strong Protoss player. So GG to him there, and that's going to be it for me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw, what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.